Hi everyone, it's Tammy with Frou-frou Studio and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making some faux items to use in our journals. And you probably have seen some of these before, other people making them, but this is going to be my process of how to do them. So hopefully I will show you something you haven't seen before and you guys can try it on your own and see what you can come up with. So what started all this is I got these two metal tags on my trip to Nashville, and they are just brass metal tags, and I got them at Antique Archaeology, which is the retail store for the American Pickers TV show that is in Nashville. And I love them. They're brass and they've been hand stamped, and they were probably used in some kind of factory or maybe even a mine, which is why I wanted them, since I'm going to be doing a journal on coal mining. And I love them and I can't part with them. And so I thought, okay, they're metal, they're pretty heavy, and it got me thinking, we have a lot of things that we use in journals that are metal or thicker. I am bad about it because I love these things. I love these tags. I love the enamel, the faux enamel little numbers. I love the book plates. I love buttons. I love keys. But they're all quite bulky. And so what I have been working on today is options for having something that looks like these things, but are not as bulky. And so the first thing I did was duplicate these two tags. And these are the two that I did. So I'm going to show you how I accomplished this. And you can see I grunged mine up even a little more than the original ones. And then I'm going to show you also how I created these faux enamel tags. And these are all out of paper, which these are, inspired by this little Tim Holtz number here. And also, I have some faux buttons that I made. And I also made some tags like this that are, similar to the Tim Holtz ones. So I'm just going to kind of actually make a couple and then walk you through, kind of how I made the others. So for these two I did in brass, and I used the Tim Holtz Metallics, the gold craft, and the ones I'm going to make for you guys, I'm going to use the silver craft. And it comes in just like an 8x8 sheet. It's got craft on the back, and it's got, the metallic on the front. And the pad that I have, which is actually, the cover is under here. Let me move these things away. It's this one. It's craft stock, and it's metallic, and I have the gold and the silver. And there's 36 of these in a pad. So that's what we're going to use. Let me get some of the stuff out of the way here so I've got some working room. But yeah, I had originally said, you know, I was going to do signatures today for the German journal, and I saw a squirrel, so this is where I went and what I have been working on. So that's the way it goes. Sometimes you think you're going to do one thing and you end up doing something else. All right, so I just cut these circles with my circle punch. It's 1.5 inches, and you, of course, can make them any size that you want to. 1.5 inches is just what size the original ones were, or thereabouts. So that's why I picked that one. And I cut out 2 for each one that I'm going to glue back to back. Like this. And I'm sorry if this is reflecting. It is shiny. And I'm not sure how that's coming across in the camera. But if it is glaring, I apologize. Okay, so that is that part. Maybe, if I can get it stuck together. Now, I will tell you, if you are not a patient person or you have nails, this can be very trying to get the numbers on. Now, you could also stamp numbers if you have a stamp, because, you know, as long as you use archival ink or any permanent ink, it works. That one is stamped. If you can see that, that one is stamped with a stamp. You know, that is stamped with a stamp. So if you don't want to use the cutout numbers, you can definitely stamp them. All right. This is my little tray that has my little numbers on it. I cut these when I don't have anything else going on or I'm uninspired at the moment. I cut these little numbers out. And these are all out of the 3 Chapter 3 kits from Tim Holtz. Each one of those 3 die cut sets have a set of numbers, and they're all 3 different sizes. And so that's what these are. And I am just randomly gonna get 3 numbers out. When you cut them, if you cut the entire set out at one time, you get 3 of each number. So that's usually what I do at one time. We'll do a 502 and a 236. That'll work. Okay. Now, if you have a bigger number, you know, you could use that as 2, just whatever fits on your circle. All right, before we do that, I'm going to move this tablet over here so I can use this tablet to kind of line everything up. And like I said, this is very frustrating. To work with these little numbers. You could use tweezers. I'm not very good with tweezers. All right, this is how I do it, is I take my ruler, where are you, little green ruler? I have a little green Cricut ruler somewhere. I just had it. Okay, I've lost my ruler. Good start. I'm sure it's right in front of me. All right, I'm going to use this. Okay, I'm going to semi kind of line my circles up on these lines on the paper, and then I'm going to place this on here like this so that I can get kind of a straight line to line my numbers up. Now I'm going to take glue stick and I'm going to just swipe across both of these. Okay, and then I'm going to attempt to line these numbers up based on that card or piece of paper or ruler if you're using a ruler. Okay, so let's put 2. Number 3. Number 6. And then our 5. And our 0. Stick down. And our 2. And this is the biggest of the 3 number sets that are in the dies. And it is in which one is this one in? I think it is in the it is in this one, which is 665926. It's the one that's got the coin envelope. All right, so I think we got those down. And hopefully they're pretty straight, and they look like they are. Okay, we're going to give those a minute to dry, and then I'm going to do one of the enamel faux enamel ones. And let's use the second to the size for this one. And we'll do, I think I can get this one in here. Okay, this one is in this one, which is 665927, and it is the one that has all the correspondence stuff in it. So it is this one. It has the mail stuff. Okay. And same thing, I'm going to put the glue stick on here. And then I'm going to line my, since I've already poked holes in this one, I'm going to line my holes up on one of those lines. And then I'm going to put my paper across there. I want that to come down just a little bit. So the center of that 8 is kind of centered with the hole. And these actually could actually do the smallest set for these, for this one. I think this is going to be okay. Okay, so there's that one. Now, for this one, I'm going to take just a black Sharpie, and I'm going to go around the little dots. Holes. Kind of like that. It doesn't like me marking around that glue. Okay, and then I'm going to go all the way around the edge. And just kind of outline the whole tag. And I'm not worried about being real smooth with it. I'm kind of intentionally not being smooth with it. Okay. So there is that. Now, because my embossing stuff is on the other side of the room, I'm going to put you on pause and go do the embossing part. And what I'm going to do is as follows. On this one, if I can get my pen back in here. Okay. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put a clear embossing on here. And that's all I'm going to do for that one. Okay, for this one, I am going to use Vintage Photo, and I'm just going to put it in certain spots. Okay, let me poke the holes in this. For the holes at the top, I'm using the small hole on the crocodile to create my hole. Okay. All right. I'm going to pause you. And I will be right back and we'll do the next part. I have to set those down because I can't get to my camera. Okay, I'm back and I've zoomed in a little bit so you can see the next part. As you can see, I just put the dauber on there, the embossing dauber, in random places, and then I put the Vintage Photo distress glaze on there and then embossed it. And on this one, I just used clear and embossed it. So that's where we are now. So now comes the fun part and the messy part. We are going to add some patina to these. Sorry, you had to get a swallow of my tea there. Alright, so we're going to use distress crayons, and we are going to use walnut stain. We are going to use peacock feathers, and we are going to use rusty hinge. And we might use a little bit of campfire, depending. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the walnut stain, and we are going to go all the way around the edges. And for those of you that are not familiar with distress crayons, they are movable with a little bit of water or your fingers until they dry, and then they become permanent. So if you keep a damp, just a damp paper towel or something that's got just a little bit of dampness on it, you can move it around and do what you need to do to manipulate it. But once it's dried, you know, it becomes permanent. So you do have some time to work with it. And I find it best, you know, I just kind of put it in random spots. And the reason that I put the embossing on there is it causes like a grazing kind of effect. And so it picks up this crayon and it'll hold on to it. And so it makes it a nice surface to grab onto in order to give a real aged look to it. See, I'm just going around the edges. But this is quite messy. You do get it on your fingers, so if you don't like your finger tool, then this may not be the project for you. Crayons, however, do wash off really easy with soap and water. They're not like the Distress Oxides or the inks or anything like that. They come right off. And usually, to be honest, when you get done, you can wipe your fingers with baby wipe and take it all off. Alright, so there's our walnut stain. Now we're going to take just a little bit of this peacock feathers, and we're going to randomly put some of that to kind of look like tarnish. You know, we're not going to do a lot of it, just in places that make sense. And again, we're going to rub it so that it kind of blends in with everything else. Whoops, I rubbed my toe off. That wasn't stuck down good enough. I probably heated the glue back up when I embossed it. Let's put some mark on there. Take care of that real quick. There we go, all better. Alright, let's get this one. Get a little bit of moisture on my fingers. And you can make these as grungy as you want to or as clean as you want to. You know, if you want a bright new shiny tag, then you wouldn't have to do the embossing or anything. You could just do the numbers in the on the metallic and be done with it. Alright, so there's our peacock feathers. Now, and you can see, it comes right off. You get it all over you, but it's real easy to get off. So, now I'm going to take, we've used that, we've used this. I'm going to take the rusty hinge, put just a little bit of that color here and there. Just wherever you feel like it needs it. Put some on the edge. Okay, and while I have the rusty hinge, I'm going to put just a little bit of that on here, because you know how sometimes it's enamel wear gets chipped and it gets that kind of rusty. I'm not going to go crazy, just a tad. Alright, so this one is done. This one is pretty much done, but I think I want just a touch of this campfire because it's just a little darker. Not a lot, just a touch. And this too is, you know, a different, because this one is silver. The aging or the patina would be different than it would be on the brass. Alright, so there we go. There's our tags. And I think they look really good. And then, like I said, when that crayon dries, it's going to be permanent. So let's put them on something clean so you can see what they look like. So there are our finished faux tags. Love it. And, you know, they don't weigh anything. They're thin. So you could use those very easily in a journal. Now, I'll walk you through how I did a couple of these other things. All the dies that I used are from the 3 sets that I talked about from Tim Holtz. They're from these 3, 665927, 926, and 930. And so, and the other set that I used for the little tags is this 6 set, and it is 662838. Just trying to see if it had a name, but it's all different shapes of tags. I bet it's right there underneath that. Nope. Okay, so everything that I made, I used one of these, or I used my 1.5" circle punch, or I used, for the ovals, I used this Tim Holtz punch. I don't even know if you can get it anymore. It doesn't have a number on it, but it's Sizzix as well. Okay. So, for the faux buttons, oh, that's another, let me put my pen in here for my glue sticks. I also use this one for the buttons. I don't see a size on that, but I want to say it's 3/4. It's a half. And of course, you know, you can use any size. All right, for the buttons, all I did for those is I ran a piece of cardstock through an embossing folder, and that can be any embossing folder of your choice. I used this one, which is kind of a floral-y, kind of scrolly one. And, or you can do them plain. You don't have to emboss them. Emboss them. I just thought they would look kind of cool. So I ran it through the embossing folder, and then I punched the circles, and I put 3 layers together. But if you can see, compared to a regular button, it's still quite a bit thinner. So those are going to lay nice and flat in your journal. I embossed these with clear embossing powder, and then just tied a piece of thread through it. This one was the same color. It was white cardstock, and I just picked a color of Distress Oxide. I think this was what's it called? The oh shoot. Sorry guys. It is Salvage Patina. Sorry. And then I embossed it with clear embossing powder. Tied the string. So you could do them in different color paper. You could do them in flowered paper. You could do them whatever. But those are really nice. I have made and used those before. You can do them on a book page. They look really good out of book page. distressed with like vintage photo. Okay, these I intend to be like little faux coins. And I ran those through an embossing folder. It's just something with a pattern. And then I embossed these with hickory smoke. And then put just a little bit of the peacock feathers on there to give them a little tarnished look. Okay. And I did those two-sided so they kind of look like coins. So that's how I did those. And then the enamel tags we talked about already. These others are just tags that are cut from the gold in the silver paper using the dies. And then I stamped on them with Tim Holtz stamps using our black archival ink and let that dry. And then I went through basically the same thing. I'm sorry, I stamped the numbers prior to putting the hickory smoke embossing on them. If I said that backwards, I may have. And then again, I used the crayons. And so that's how those came out. These are all stamped with black archival. Okay, so those are nice little metal tags. These I stamped or I die cut the big number set, and these circles are cut out of the negatives. And again, I just used a circle punch and cut them out of the negatives and poked a hole in the top. And same process, it's got the hickory smoke embossing and then the crayons. And then this is also a Tim Holtz stamp. It says factory 6 something or another, but it's just a stamp and a round, just a round tag. Okay, these are Amy's at Crafty Cat, her keys that she has in her shop, and you get a ton of them. I'll show you mine. Oops, sorry about that clanking. I keep mine in this little old wooden box. But this is 2 sets. This is 1 set of the rusty and 1 set of the black, and you see how many you get. So I took 2 of those and I embossed them with clear embossing powder. And you can see they have just a little bit of shine to them. And then same thing, I use the crayons on them just to give them a little bit more patina. And then this is a tag or a sticker that was in the Tim Holtz Halloween sticker book. It's a, just a keyhole. And same thing, I embossed it with clear embossing powder and then used the crayons on it. And that's it, guys. So, as you can see, I've got quite a variety of different things that can be used in journals that are not going to take up a lot of room and are going to have a really cool look, I think. In different journals that I have coming up. Sorry, I was thinking and trying to talk at the same time, and sometimes that just doesn't work. So I hope this gives you some ideas. I've got my blanks. I've got a bunch more blanks cut. There is a book plate as well that I think would look really good. Kind of rusted up or whatever. And you could put, you know, something like this behind it and stamp a number or a word. You know, there's several other shapes of tags and things that can be used. So I hope you guys will try some of these things and let me know if you do and if you like it. And I will continue to work on these, and maybe the next time we'll do signatures for the German journal if I don't get sidetracked doing something else. So thanks for joining me, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.